Hello everyone. Today we are going to simplify one of the most intimidating structure in neuroanatomy, the thalamus. By the end of the video, you will be able to orient yourself within the thalamus, divide the thalamus into major nuclear groups, name every important thalamic nucleus, understand the function of each group, and recall the clinically important connections for FRCS examination. Let's begin. First, uh, First we'll start with this image. This is the thalamus. This is egg-shaped structure, 3D structure. So how to orient? This is the anterior part. This is the posterior part, and this is the lateral part. Here would be the internal capsule. This is the medial part, and here would be the another left-sided thalamus, and third ventricle would be here, and in the inferior part there would be hypothalamus. Yeah, and then so how this is divided? So this egg-shaped structure divided by the internal medullary lamina. Yeah, these are the white matter structures, and then there are some nuclei which are also present in this lamina. So this divides thalamus into the major three parts. One is the anterior part, medial part, and the lateral part, and there are different nuclei in their different parts. So although anatomically thalamus is divided into three parts, anterior, medial, and lateral, but for learning purpose we classify thalamus into five nuclear groups. So first is the anterior group. What is the name of this is the anterior group? What is the name of this nucleus? Okay, so I will reveal this. This is the anterior nucleus. Nothing special. This is anterior region has the anterior nucleus, and then we'll go with the medial group. So what is the name of this nucleus? This is the mediodorsal or dorsomedial nucleus. Yeah, and then we will come to the lateral part of this thalamus. This is the lateral part, and the nucleus. For understanding nucleus, we have divided this into with this imaginary line into the ventral and the dorsal part. Okay, so so in the dorsal part, what are the nuclei? The nuclei, this is the one nucleus, second nuclei, third nuclei. So what are the name of the, so if you can identify what is this posterior nuclei, which is big nuclei, so that is the pulvinar. Okay, and this is these dorsal nuclei, the dorsal nuclei, this is one, this is two. So this one is the lateral dorsal and lateral posterior. Okay, and posteriorly we have learned that this is the pulvinar. Now we'll go to the important one. These are the ventral group of nuclei, multiple nuclei, so which we will divide into the parts. These are the ventral part, which is associated with the motor. This is associated with the sensory two groups, and these are the two bodies which are on the posterior part. So first we will start from the ventral part. So what is the name of this nuclei and this nuclei? These are on the ventral part. So we'll see, this is ventral anterior and this is ventral lateral, that we need to remember. Okay, so then comes the ventral posterior, anterior, lateral, and posterior. So this is divided into two parts, medial and the lateral. Okay, ventral posterior part is divided into two. So what would be the name? Ventral posterior medial, ventral posterior lateral. Okay, and the two bodies that we learned that there are two bodies on the posterior side. What are the name of these bodies? Just for the remember, these are, one is the uh, light body, other is a music body. So we'll learn why I'm saying this. This is the musical geniculate body, that is medial geniculate body associated with the hearing, and this is the light geniculate body. That why? Because this is the lateral geniculate body associated with the light or vision. And the final final nuclei are in the interlaminar group. Here is the centromedial group of nuclei are there. And then what are the functions of these nuclei? We'll start with the anterior group first. Okay, so anterior group are part of the anterior nucleus is a part of the Pape circuit. So input is from the mammillary body. So mammillary bodies, they give input here, and this give input to the cingulate gyrus, and then it will give um, the circuit to the hippocampus to complete the Pape circuit. So this is associated with memory and emotion for the Pape circuit. And then the medial group, so that is medial dorsal. So this take intake from the amygdala and hippocampus, and output is the prefrontal cortex, and it is associated with emotion. So we'll go here, amygdala and hippocampus, go with the prefrontal cortex, which is, so the function is behavior, executive function, emotion, personality. So the medial dorsal, that's why this is big, and it is associated with the personality and behavior of the patient. Okay, and then the lateral dorsolateral groups, and these are associated with the sensory integration, attention, and multimotor processing, and especially the pulvinar, which is the posterior largest. It is associated with visual attention and higher order sensory integration. Yeah, so pulvinar, association cortex, attention and integration is the pulvinar. Then comes the ventral group function, which are very important and important to learn. So these are the ventral, anterior and ventrolateral. So we just need to remember, like in spinal cord, anterior part, the ventral part uh, is associated with the motor fibers, and the motor horns are on the anterior side, and on the posterior part is the sensory part. Similarly, to remember, this is similar type of arrangement is in the thalamus. So so first is ventral anterior. This takes input from the, so from the basal ganglia and to go to premotor cortex. So basal ganglia this input and will go to the premotor cortex, and the function is motor planning. The ventrolateral, this take input from the cerebellum as well as basal ganglia, and will go to the motor cortex, and it is for the motor execution. That's why it go to the motor cortex rather than the premotor. And then then the ventral posterior, medial, and posterior lateral. So actually this should be the these should be in the like this when medial, and this should be a lateral. The structure should be like this. So these take sensation um, from whole body. So if I divide the sensation from body, and one I will say the above the neck and below the neck. So if you have to think about from where the sensations are coming to which nuclei, okay, and then I will tell. So okay, so first we'll go the ventroposterior lateral. So lateral, and so that's why it will take sensation from the medial lemniscus and from the spinothalamic tract. So yeah, so it takes sensation from the body. The spinothalamic will give the pain and temperature. Medial lemniscus is from the posterior column fibers from the medial lemniscus here, and take sensation from body sensation go to, and the function is for in and the output is to the sensory cortex. Will go to the sensory cortex here. So I will draw um, structure of brain here. So this is the cerebral cortex. I would say this is the motor cortex, premotor, and with some other color sensory. So it will go to the sensory cortex. Okay, and then ventroposterior medial, it will take sensation from the face trigeminal pathways as well as carries facial sensation, um, taste sensation, so it will also go to the sensory cortex. Then comes the two bodies, lateral geniculate and medial geniculate body. Medial geniculate body takes input from the inferior colliculus and then will go to the auditory cortex and associate with the hearing. And the lateral geniculate body, it takes input from the optic tract and will go to the visual cortex associated with vision. Yeah, and the interlaminar group, mainly the centromedian nucleus, is involved with the arousal, consciousness, attention, and pain modulation. And yeah, and then so um, so mainly the thalamus is the relay station for all the sensations. And so yeah, we have learned everything about the thalamus. These are the main questions that can come to the thalamus. Okay, thank you.